All right. What's up, everybody? We're at same thing, just different time. I told you guys we were thinking about canceling the Monday streams altogether just because things are so busy here on Mondays. Been being a little more involved out in the shop trying to get things streamlined. One of those things we actually spent a lot of time today doing was overhauling how we do our solid bed mount kits, which got a little confusing because if you guys have been with us for a while, you'll know that we came out with those when there was only like a couple of Creality printers, and we found that, you know, more and more machines worked with it, and we kind of kept adding on and adding on and adding on and adding on, to the point where the product page just got kind of confusing. So I want to just go over those really quick in case you guys are wondering, because we had at one point we had our standard in our camera kit, and then we had our S5 standard and camera kit, and then we had our CR10 mini standard and camera kit, and then a universal kit and all this other stuff. So we've decided to kind of combine everything, get rid of the CR10 mini SKU because nobody was buying them anymore. We hadn't sold one of those kits in like 4 months. And the same thing with the CR10 S5s. The S5 kit was actually for the original CR10 S5 that had the older bed, and then they added an aluminum frame on the bottom of the printer so that kit wouldn't work because it would interfere with the bed. So people were just using the universal one. So I decided to simplify everything. We now have new product photos I just took because we're including different stuff. We're just simplifying. So if you notice, there's only... Are you okay, Remo? He's like sitting back here going... So we just have, 3 different options. You have the full camera kit, and then the camera arm itself. And we're automatically including now with the camera kit the 2 common adapters. So we have our EasyCam HD adapter. This little guy goes into here to mount the camera. Same thing for this. These go into there. So these are for the C270/310 and the EasyCam HD. And we also include the hardware. So there's just 3 different versions. We include the 4 rounds. So basically, if you can't use the strain arm, you already have an extra round. So there's no universal kit. It costs us about the same to do it. So I said, screw it. Let's just make it simpler. Simplify inventory. Simplify product selection. And we have just details here, like what's included. The strain arm and the rounds, the zip ties, that kind of stuff. And then the camera kit and then the camera arm. So basically, the camera kit is really the standard combined with the strain arm internally here. So, but let's say you bought the standard kit and you want the arm, you can add just the arm on later. And if you see here, we have a link out here to other adapters for, other cameras. These are not very common anymore. But we have the different camera mounting options available here. This is just a little screenshot of them and simplify here with annotations as to which one. So it supports a lot of different cameras, but the ones we were shipping out the most, with exception for like, I don't know, 1 or 2 here and there for the GoPros, were the C270/310s and the EasyCam HD ones. So yeah, this is a lot simplified here. We have a list here. So you're like, oh, will this work? I'm sure you guys have seen me when we do printer streams. I pull out the universal kit, which was the 4 rounds. This now automatically just comes with the 4. We used to ship out 3 rounds and a strain. Now when you get the standard kit, you get both. So if your printer can use a strain arm, you use it. If not, no big deal. You have an extra round here. So these are the ones that I've personally verified that the 4 rounds will fit, meaning they'll bolt up. They'll use the stock screws. They won't interfere with anything. The strain arm fitment list for the actual strain arm being used as a strain arm, to hold up your bed wires. These are the ones that it fits. If anybody has any others that I might have missed, I kind of went back through all my machines here in my memory as to which ones I know fit. And this is the list I came up with. These are the camera arm fitment list. So we do have the stuff listed there. Apparently my phone just wants to be annoying right now. So let's put that on silent. But anyways, so yeah. Just wanted to go over this, and I do have a list here. So you're like, well, what if I don't know? Okay, so printer not listed below. So you basically want to check to see if you have 22 millimeters of height between your Y carriage and your bed plate. Are your screws going to reach, and is your Z-axis going to reach the bed when it's got that distance between there? And what screw size will fit through the mounts. So there's kind of information here to kind of determine if, like, okay, your printer's not on this list. how to determine it yourself, or you can always just contact us, and this takes you right to the contact page. So I just want to put that out there. There was one other thing. Another thing I wanted to go over. Somebody was mentioning here. I was losing my train of thought. I was going to segue right into something else, but I totally forgot what I was going to say here. Yeah. Anyways, I guess if I think of it, it'll come back to me. So we're still going to do about an hour here for the stream. Wednesdays will still be at 2 o'clock. So we're going to do 4 Central on Mondays, because that'll get me towards the end of the day. Things are a little bit calmer towards the end of the day. During the morning and afternoon, it's kind of crazy. So anyways, but yeah, let's get into the... Oh, now I remember. Our Easy Pie kits, we got rid of the plastic cases because some people were buying them, but people were still buying the aluminum ones. And those are my preferred ones. We do have a new one now that is completely fanless. So they're a little more expensive because it's a chunk of aluminum. It uses the actual case as the actual heatsink. So you can see we got the normal thing here, but you can actually select your case type here, whether you want the aluminum, which is the standard one, or a fanless one. So this one actually has no fans. It's got contact points that come down to the memory, the USB controller, and the voltage regulator, and the processor. And it uses the whole case, the whole top of the case, as a heatsink. And it actually runs a couple degrees cooler than the one with the fan. And if you want to look at more details on the cases here too, you can actually purchase the cases separately now. So if you get the aluminum one, this is the standard case we use for our Easy Pie kits. This also includes a heatsink and fan. The fans we're using are our own branded fans. If you actually looked at yours, you'll see that there actually are fans on there, and they're dual ball bearing fans. And they're just average noise level. They're not loud. They're not quiet. They're just, they're a fan that keeps the heatsink cool, or keep the processor cool. And then we also have the fanless option. So let's say you have this version and you want to upgrade, you could actually get the same case that we use on there. And it comes with the thermal pads too. So I just wanted to point that out just for a comparison here. So if I pull up, it's not going to be a super fair comparison, but it'll give you an idea. So my Ender 6, which is sitting next to me, has the silent case on it. And the Ender 5 Plus here has the active cooling case, so the regular one with the heatsink and fan. I'm just waiting for this to populate. It takes a sec because it queries at a certain interval. And you can see here, my CPU on the Pi is running about 43.8C, and this is while I'm printing. And this one here, there it goes. So you can see here, this is with the fan, same room. We're sitting at 43C. So it's about the same. This is not printing. This actually runs about 2 degrees warmer than the fanless case, but it's still well within spec, and it's completely silent. So this is with the same board. This one's not printing right now, so less load. But the thermals on these cases are really great, and there's no noise. So we're still going to keep the active cooling case just because it is cheaper, because it's less physical metal. Because you got to remember, it's a block of aluminum that's machined out. It's a little harder to make than the other ones. And it's more material. So we're going to keep both, but I just wanted to point that out. We got about 25 of those cases in. I took one for one of my machines here, and we stocked the rest on the site. So you guys will see those, so you can see the regular one and the active cooled one, which we've been running. So you guys have options. So let's jump into the chat here and start answering questions. Who's the first one? Chad Wilcox looks like be the first one. He's asking about an Easy Pie. He said, looking forward to using it with FL Sun Q, QS Pro, and a PAL 2S. Is there anything I should look out for or be aware of? Is it fairly simple plug and play? Basically, just plug it in, find it on your network. It'll get an IP address. You pop that into your browser. There's actually a setup guide on finding your Pi on there. For some reason, it doesn't display the IP address on the printer screen. That one, the FL Sun, sometimes those have like a touch screen that won't display like the M117 command. So our Pi kits come with a plugin pre-installed called IP on Connect. So when it gets an IP address and the printer's connected, it actually sends an M117 command with the IP address to the printer screen. So you just look at the front of the printer and go, okay, there's my IP address. But you can also use a tool like Advanced IP Scanner, and it'll just scan and you'll look for something called OctoPi is the host name it uses. I use the Ender 5 Plus. I don't know if you saw when I pulled that up, that has the Canvas plugin on it because I do have a Palette 2S Pro hooked up to it. You can install the Canvas plugin. The Canvas plugin works with our EasyPi kit. Our EasyPi kits run OctoPrint. It's just got a theme on it and a bunch of plugins. We've been documenting the actual Pi image contents more now. If you guys look on our help center, we actually have a more broken out link of all the plugins that are pre-installed and changes. So we're on version 2.1 for that image. The only difference between 2 and 2.1 is I updated, an update came out for the firmware updater plugin, and I changed the arc welder plugin to not process things automatically. I meant to do that before I pushed the image out, and it was one of those little things I missed. So, but yeah, no, it's that image is on there too. So if you guys have one of our older EasyPi kits, like even the 3B or 3B plus ones, and you want to update to the new image, you just wipe your SD card completely, download the image from the site and flash it, and then you'll have the new image. So I have tested the EasyPi Pro version 2 image on Pi 3B and 3B pluses here in my office because I have a mix of both. I have a mix of all those Pis here just because I've set printers up throughout the years, and unless the Pi breaks, I keep using it. So it works on all those, and we switched back to a 32-bit based image because the 64-bit one was what they considered experimental. So yeah. Anyways, let's see. What's the next question here? Jonathan Bayer is talking about OctoPrint is a great control system for printers. I wish you could deal with more than one. So here's the thing. You can run more than one OctoPrint instance on a Pi. I do not recommend it. Gina from OctoPrint, she's the creator of OctoPrint, does not recommend it, but you can hack it, and it's a hack. It's not officially supported. You can hack a Pi to run multiple things. My reason I don't recommend is because that Pi goes down. Let's say the SD card goes out, you're putting more wear on it, running multiple machines off, or you unplug it, or it crashes or hangs. Let's say you're running 4 printers off of it, and that Pi hangs. Now you just lost 4 print jobs going at the same time versus 1 to 1. We have 1 Pi for every single machine here. Yes, it does add up on cost, but I can tell you, I do not regret doing that. And even if I wasn't running a business, I would still do that because it's the amount of time it'll take you to hack it, to work with multiple machines, and then in the future doing updates and other things breaking because you're having to nurse this little hacked system along. I don't think it's worth the time. If you got a ton of printers and you want to get them, you should learn how to put together your own OctoPrint kit, or contact us. We can also do like a discount pricing if you're going to buy more than 5 of them. Don't contact us with asking for like bulk discount and you want 2. It's got to be at least 5 or more on those. But the nice thing is that you should run multiple Pis, 1 for each machine. So don't stack them on there. It can be done. Just because it can be done doesn't mean you should do it. But it's your guys' hardware. Do whatever you want. I'm just giving you my experience. I've tried hacking it. It worked, but an update would come through and it would break. So yeah, it's not very, very good. Let's see here. Vape to live. OctoPi connects directly to a US printer USB port. Yes. So I have one right here. This is actually the one I use for building images and testing. That's why it's sitting here. So this is our EasyPi kit. It's a Raspberry Pi pre-setup kit in a case. You plug your printer in here. You can plug a camera in here. You got wired network, and these have wireless as well. You give it power. You plug your printer in. You either hardwire it. I hardwire mine. The Pis do have Wi-Fi, but it's not the strongest signal, especially in a metal case. Their antennas just aren't that great to begin with. They're very tiny. I did, if you guys look at the changelog and the latest EasyPi Pro image, I actually installed a kernel level driver for high gain USB antennas. I have a stack of them in our shop, and I've been testing them, and you'll be able to actually just plug in. I think one of the ones we're using is a TP-Link. I think it's a 1500, but it's a high gain antenna. So that way you plug this in and the Wi-Fi works great then. I just have to put documentation together on disabling the built-in Wi-Fi, because if you're going to use the USB, you want to disable the built-in Wi-Fi. So, I don't have the new form for the giveaway set up today. Let me see. I'll tell you what, I'll get the new form set up and you guys can enter after the stream. I'll leave it open for like a half hour, but it'll be going. I just didn't have a chance to make a new one. So, what's the next question here? Let me pull this up here. Hang on. Vape to live. My SVO1 has less than 50 hours, and the fans are already making some nasty screeching sounds intermittently. Yeah. What's the best quiet fan type replacements? Well, if you want to deal with a bunch of issues, go ahead and listen to people on Facebook and put an Octo in there. You'll deal with heat creep and all sorts of stuff. But we have, it depends on what fan you're talking about on the SVO1, because we actually have some fans for that printer, but we don't have all the fans for that printer. I believe the hot end fan is a 30 millimeter, which we do not carry. But the control box one, I believe it has one in the control box. I have to look up that printer again. But basically measure the fan, look at the voltage. Those should all be 24 volt fans on that machine. Surprisingly, our hot end fans have not died yet on our Sovals. But we just started putting time on them. I believe those are a 30 millimeter on the hot end. I don't believe those are 40s. No, those are 30s, because they have that like V6 style heatsink. So I don't even think Noctua makes 30s. They make 40s, but yeah, it's not uncommon for it depends on what fan. It's not uncommon for the fans to go out. I think the fan in the base of that printer is a blower style. I believe it's a 4020 blower style. And then the power supply should have a 60 millimeter. And you got to open that up and look. That might, it's either a 12 volt or a 24 volt. One thing you guys will notice, if you open up the power supplies, even if you have a 24 volt power supply, like Meanwell uses 12 volt fans inside their 24 volt power supply. So they use the same fan across all their models. They have like a separate little power supply in the power supply just for the fan. So I really should get 30 millimeters in. I definitely can get them through multiple of our suppliers. At least a small quantity. So, let's see here. We don't have any hats for sale on our site yet. I'm actually looking for another merch provider, because Teespring's been doing well, but they don't have hats. Someone said they had hats. I went to go add them to the page, and they don't have hats. I can't add them. So, yeah, get that fan replaced. And if you're looking for fans, get dual ball bearing fans, or like sealed sleeve bearings or maglev bearings. Maglev is like Sunon or CUI. We sell Sunon fans. Most of the fans we have, like actually I think all the fans we have that are our brand, those are all dual ball bearings. I'm a big fan of the dual ball bearing fans. They last a long time. So, but let's see here. What other questions? Yeah, Remo is here. He is passed out on his bed over there as I'm talking. Let me see if I can sneak I don't know if you can see his ear right there. Let me see if I can sneak a photo here. Yeah, he's out. I'm gonna leave him be. I'll wake him up towards the end of the stream. Oh, damn it. I woke him up. Shh. Oh, he's just adjusting. All right, let's see here. Altered proxy. What kit would I suggest for the under 6? What kit are you referring to? Like, what do you mean by kit? Like ABL kit? I mean, I have I've got the 18 on my my Ender 6 here. This is the Ender 6's camera. It's printing easy cam adapters for the bed cam or the bed mount kits. Actually, I got a couple machines doing those in here. So, if you're talking about Easy ABL kit, I do the 18 millimeter, and then since we just revamped the solid bed mounts, you just the standard one. The standard one will be fine now. I use the universal one, which is the 4 rounds, but now that since we consolidated it all, you just get the standard one because that comes with the 4 mounts now. You would not use the strain relief. I don't think it'll fit mine. I took product photos. These are ones I use for product photos. I'm going to see if this fits on my Ender 6, but it looks like because it's a little further out, I don't think it will. So once that print job is done running, I'm going to see if it'll fit before I officially list it. But either way, if you get the standard kit now, it'll come with the arm and the 4. So you can either use the 4 and not use the strain, or you can use the strain and you'll have extra. So let's see here. But so far, now that I've actually got a lot of time on the Ender 6 now. I really like it. I really like it. I like the Ender 6. It's a decent machine. So I'm very impressed with the print quality. The speed, the print quality, it's a decent printer for the price. I'm very happy with it. I do want to say I did have one issue. My extruder motor stopped moving the other day, and it was that connector that goes into the breakout board in the back right. I had to disconnect it. One of the pins had pushed itself out, so I pulled the pin out, flared back out the retaining piece on the actual connector, and shoved it back in, and it's working. But I was sitting there going like, did this board seriously fail already? It was just a plug. So the driver just shut down, and yeah. So it was fun. Justin Diva, where's my Easy ABL control board? I sent one back because the screw terminal broke. I'm not sure, but you should update your ticket. I don't handle all the packages that come back in here. I've got some. Actually, this might be yours right here. I'm looking at your label is huge, but the post office did a great job getting it here. I don't know if you can see this. I am going to have to open this on camera later. This is on my to-do list tonight. But yeah, this is yours. It says damage Easy ABL. Yeah, 10293. So I'm not going to show your address on here, but yeah, that will be going through. I'll be going through these boxes later tonight. These other two are easy boards, so that I have to look at. They're all smoked processors, so that'll be fun. I'll be going through. If you guys have any repairs, I go through repairs on Wednesdays. Today, Mondays and Tuesdays are too crazy to sit down. I need to sit down and have a good hour or two to get things cleaned up. So I did print. You guys print any of these? The little toasters that were on the Edge of Tech. I did this on my Ender 3, and it came out pretty good. I ran this off at like 80 millimeters a second, and like the gears, these are a little crunchy, but I think this is more like nozzle travels because I do see some in here. I got to tune the profile a little bit better. So, but yeah, you can see the little tolerance thingies. It got down to 0.3. 0.1 is stuck and 0.2 is stuck. But it's an interesting little test. It takes way too long to print though. But I printed one in the Ender 6. The Ender 6 did really well on it too, completely with stock cooling. This is from Clockspring 3D. Clockspring 3D. So, but it takes like 10 hours of printing, so it's not a quick print. I still prefer the Benji for just doing general tests. But it's a neat print. It's fun. So, let's see here. Let's see the next one. Jeffy Boy, does the Easy ABL control box accept 24 volts? If you have the Easy ABL Pro, yes. If you have an Easy ABL 3.1, which is old ones, those are like over 2 years old at this point, the 3.1s. But the Pros all work on 24 volts and 12 volts. The old V3.1s, those worked on 12 and 24. And basically the V3 and lower did not work on 24. They were all 12. So there were some version 3s that went out that worked with 24. But all of the V3.1s worked on 24, I can tell you that. So Let's see here. R Mills is asking about the SSR. I was trying to install my Searton S5. Can I do a quick dumbed down description of how to wire? There is a wiring diagram on our site here. So if you just type SSR wiring into our help center. Hey Jamie, pull that up. There we go. So if you just type SSR wiring, you will get the first link here. This is how you wire a AC bed with a solid state relay. So this is how I like to do it. I put a little 15 amp resettable breaker in line. I highly recommend it. This is optional. You come in to this terminal here on the SSR. You connect one of the legs from the bed here. Your printer's hot bed control goes into the positive and negative on the SSR right here. And then the neutral, which is usually the white wire, goes right to the bed. Now, if you notice here, I have detailed that if your power cord has a brown, blue, or green, the wiring's different. If you have a cord that's intended for the US, you should have a black, green, and white, and black being line, green being ground, and white being neutral. So this is how you wire it up, and it controls it just like a DC bed. So it's pretty simple to wire up. It's not crazy hard to do. Highly recommend take that ground wire, put an eye loop on the end, and tie it to the printer frame. I also run a separate wire from that eye loop, so I'll usually put 2 wires into the eye loop. So the one coming from the plug itself, and then a secondary one, crimp it, or just use 2 separate eye loops and bolt them to the same bolt. And I'll run another one to the bed and bolt it to the actual frame of the bed. Not the carriage, but the frame of the bed. So that way you have grounding on there because you're dealing with AC now. If you guys ever have questions about a product where there's installation materials or tutorials or articles, always check our help center. That's the website at support.th3dstudio.com. That is where we store all of our information on our products. It's all there. We've actually been moving a lot of that information from product pages to the help center and then putting a link on the product page to the help center. So the goal is everything's in the help center. That's the one-stop place to go if you're looking for product documentation or even guides. There's a lot of stuff on there, not just for products, but general guides on troubleshooting your printer, tuning your hot end for PID regulation, that kind of stuff, different wiring diagrams. That's where we put all of our stuff. That's our information database, so to speak. So let's see here. TJ Jordan, knowing the price difference, would you prefer an Ender 6 or you said Dauntless, but I think you mean Daedalus. They're 2 completely different classes of printers. The Ender 6 prints great. The problem is I know I'm going to have issues with it after a couple months. People have said their motors have been snapping. There's been issues with the belts and the pulleys. I have no reservations that this, I don't know if that's the right word, but I have no worries about this breaking down on me. This machine's been very reliable. I use it for when I need a part really, really fast. It's very good at that, and it's very accurate. But like in terms of me personally, I do like the Daedalus. It's built well, but it's expensive. If I was going to kit my print farm out, I'd buy a ton of Ender 6s because I know how to fix them. But if you're somebody that wants something that just works, this is a really good machine if you have the money. If you're a company that wants a machine that works out of the box, this is a really good machine. The Ender 6 is not, in terms of out-of-the-box experience and longevity. So I've had no issues with this machine. I've been using it for months now, no problems. I put filament in, I hit print, and it goes. Whereas the Ender 6, I've already had to fiddle with it. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, the extruder motor just stopped working. It took me an hour to screw with it, and ended up being the cable. I was going over all the connections. I was like, it's probably the breakout board after I took the bottom off. I had it outside. Reliability, there's trade-offs. The Ender 6 is a great machine for the price, but it's not going to be as reliable as this. It's already proven itself to not be as reliable as this already, and I've only been using it for a couple weeks. So, price, you get what you pay for. So, and also, if you get one of these, you need help, they actually have tech support. So, but anyways, let's see. Dustin, what EasyABL is recommended for the Ender 6, 18, or 12? Go with the 18. That's what I put on mine. Here's the thing with the EasyABL sensor size. If you can fit an 18, go with an 18. Many machines that we support, they all fit the 18. There's only a few that don't, like the Wanhao D6. The Wanhao i3 Mini can support the 18, but you get more probable area on the bed because with the 12, and we have a specific mount for the 12. The 12s are out there mainly for like the couple of machines that the 18s don't fit on, but mostly for people that are doing a custom mount or a specialized mount for their printer where they want something that's smaller and they can kind of shove into that mount without taking up a ton of space. But in terms of accuracy, they're both the same. The 12 has a slightly lower sensing distance, which we account for in the calibration setup. But in terms of accuracy and the actual electronics inside driving it, they're all the same. So, let's see here. I'm just looking through. Chat's going to jump on me soon. I just know it. I know it's going to jump. I'm scrolling. I'm waiting for it. Aaron B. Just curious, does your case allow for space for a Pi hat on the Pi 4? The aluminum, this case might. I don't have a Pi hat, but you've got... The fanless one definitely will not. But this one, that's not a Philips. Hang on. This one might, but the only thing is... I'm trying to remember what those Pi hats... I'll have to look it up. I don't think the Pi hats will fit in these, because those are pretty large, aren't they? I know what you're talking about, because they have a PoE Pi hat that plugs onto the header to do power over Ethernet from the actual the port. I don't use those. I use the splitters because they're external. I don't have to worry about what case I'm using. They just work. Let's see here. So just to give you an idea, there is some clearance in here. So this is the standard case we use. So to give you an idea, so you can see how tall the USB ports are over here. You got a couple millimeters of clearance. I want to say like, well, I can tell you exactly because I have calipers here. Yeah, got about 5 millimeters of clearance, taller than the USB ports. So if that gives you an idea. I have not used them on here. I like using the separate ones. That way I just plug it in. I don't have to worry about the case and stuff. So let me put this back together so I don't lose this. This is the one I use for testing and building images. That's why it's on my desk here, because I was just updating that image a couple days ago. I think it was a couple days ago, maybe first or second, I'm not sure. So, but either way, I've got both of our cases. I have some Pi kits here that are so old that they're still the old printed ones before we actually switched over to getting, you know, metal cases or plastic cases that are pre-made. So, those were the days. Let's see. Jeff Donhauser says, I have a TH3 gear I'm trying to solve. The EasyBoard Lite V11 with the older EasyABL Pro. Is there any difference between the 1.1 and 1.2 for firmware? No, there's not. They all use the same firmware. We intentionally made sure that when we made any revisions to the EasyBoards, there were no change in the firmware. The revisions on the EasyBoards, so basically 1.0 was retail release. 1.1, we made a change to the voltage regulator pads to account for 2 ceramics instead of an electrolytic for the 5-volt regulator, so we can do either or because we were having issues getting the electrolytics. And I believe we added the power LED. We actually didn't have a power LED on the version 1s. Little oversight there. We didn't have a power LED on there. It's a running joke with Griffin because he's the one who designed it. I was giving him shit for it because like every time I have him make prototypes of something, he forgets power LEDs. But I didn't catch it either on the 1.0. So 1.1 was that little thing. We added power LED, and then 1.2 we added on the extra filtering onto the LCD header for EMI once we started seeing issues with the Ender 5s. And then the little EMI filter boards we have, we sent those out to every single person that needed them for no charge, whether they're international or US, for the filter. So, and then he says the board came with 2 extra pieces for MOSFET. I'm not sure what you mean the board came with 2 extra pieces. The only extra pieces you might add on would be like the LCD adapter for the 2 cables. So to go from the single port to the dual cable Creality LCDs, or the dual Z adapter. So those would be like the 2 add-ons that would be like little extra parts. Unless you ordered a MOSFET, there's not a separate MOSFET. The stock MOSFETs on the Easy board will handle all the stock printer beds. So, let's see here. Next questions here. Man, we're already 45 minutes in. Shit, almost 45 minutes. Let's see here. Kanoe A said he's been getting layer shifts on his Ender 3 V2. I've tightened everything. Larger fans on my main board. Swapped to the 427 with no luck. Is there anything else I'd recommend? Try loosening up your belts. If you've been tightening things down, you could just be running those belts too tight. Your belts should not be super tight. Your belts should be tensioned enough to where if you do a quick move, it doesn't skip teeth on the motor, drive pulley, whatever you want to call it. Like that's how tight you should have. If you tighten it too much, you're going to put too much load on the bearings, and you can introduce layer shifting on that as well. You also might want to check your VREFs on the board too, because if they're set too low, which Creality, as far as I know, they don't set the VREFs on them. If the VREF is set too low, then you're also going to get layer skips. You could also try upping the VREF a little bit. Just go by like 0.05 volt increments. If you go into our support or our help center, which is the support.th3dstudio.com, just type VREF, VREF. There's a page that has the recommended settings for the 422 and 427 with the trinamic drivers, as well as a video showing in general how to check VREFs and set them. So, but be very careful when you're checking and setting them, because if your screwdriver slips when you're adjusting it, or your probe lead slips, you can short the board out. It has to be done with the power on. So, that's one of the reasons, like with our Easy board, we have the drivers hooked up with what's called UART mode. So the firmware controls all of that. So if you need to change your VREF, or aka the current going to your motor, it's a LCD setting. It is not get out screwdrivers and a multimeter setting. You can literally just do it on the fly from the LCD screen. So the Creality boards don't have that luxury. That's the one thing I don't like about them, is they have the manual VREF setting. But luckily, it's one of those things that you usually set it once and you don't mess with it as long as you have the machine. So, let's see here. And there we go, chat jumped. I have to get back to where I was. The Daedalus uses a Duet board. Yeah, it's got the Duet 3. It's got the big sucker in there. Just that board is over $240 last time I checked. Let's see here. Blank says, Ender 6 has been giving me hell since the mods. Motor heat is the last hurdle since I put your screen kit on it. I haven't checked the heat on mine. It doesn't seem to be too terrible, but now that you're saying it, I'll check it after the stream. But that board is controlled with the actual adjustments. So if your motor's running too hot, you're going to need to physically go in and adjust that. It's just like the 427 and the 422 boards. Any thoughts on the Anycubic Chiron? I haven't used it enough to give an opinion on it. I think it's okay, but I have seen a lot of people saying they've had issues with it. So, Vape to Live says, give a shout out to Tor. Tor was very cool to deal with and way patient with this know-nothing customer. Well, that's good to hear. We deal with a lot of people that are new. All we ask is we don't care if you don't know your stuff. We're here to help you. What we do care about is don't get frustrated and yell at us because you don't understand something. Be patient and be open to learning about stuff. Don't pushback when we say, hey, do this and try this. And we get a lot, get people from time to time, they're like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, the 3D printers in general, they're not your inkjet printer where you just shove ink in it, you hit print, it prints on the page. You have to learn how these machine works, and we do focus on educating people on how all this stuff works, because it will give you the ability to use the printer and troubleshoot it should you have other issues in the future. And you're going to have issues. They're machines. So just be patient and be open to learning. Like, we don't mind if you don't know anything. Just don't yell and scream at people because you're frustrated because you don't understand something. Let them know that, hey, I don't understand this or that, or can you explain it in a different way? That kind of stuff. So, just be patient. We will help you out. That's what we're here for. So, let's see here. Blank said, I think the Hammer didn't get hot because the Chingling power supply was set to 23 volt max on the power supply. I wish I'd checked those voltages before removing it. They should be set to 24. Everything on the printer should be set to 24. And even if you change the voltage input, 1 volt's not going to make a huge difference in terms of the current. So you got to remember, the VREF is set by the chip reading the resistance that little potentiometer is set to, and then the resistance of the coils, and it sets the amperage. So your amperage should still be the same because it's doing a calculation based off the voltage reference. VREF stands for voltage reference. So you're setting that reference voltage that it uses for the calculation based on the voltage coming into the driver and the resistance of the coils that it reads on the actual motors themselves. So, but we are coming up close to the end. I think what I'm going to do is answer a couple more questions. I'm going to get a new form made. I'm going to just kind of start clicking through that while we're chatting here. I'm just going to copy and paste some of the stuff. I'm still waiting on that seller that I got the ANET A8 to ship the damn printer. I still haven't got tracking number from him. So if it ends up flaking out, I'll end up just I did reach out to the guy. He did not reply back to me yet, but can't remember who won it, but it's in our system. I entered the order. I was waiting for tracking so I could then send him tracking number on his brand new shiny ANET A8. So we'll see. Maybe the seller I purchased from is just having delays. But you would think they would at least have a tracking number by now, because what was that? Was that Friday? Was that Friday? No, that was Thursday. So he's had a couple of days, the seller. So anyways, who knows? Form. Okay. Let's get the form going here and answer a couple of questions. So Tom Rainier says, I received the Ender 6 LCD kit today. Question, is this reversible? So yes, it is reversible. You would just need to get the Creality Ender 6 firmware. So let's say you do it and you don't like it, you want to go back to stock, you would just put the stock screen back on, reconnect the two wires, the speaker wire and the data line, and then reflash Creality's firmware on the control board. So they do have their firmware for the Ender 6 listed on their website. So it would just be as simple as take the LCD off, put the stock one back on, and then reflash the firmware on the board, and that's it. And then you'll be back to stock. So that's really with anything. If you just go back and flash the manufacturer's firmware, you can go back to stock. So, let's see here. What's my favorite filament? I like Coax 3D a lot. I will say I did get this stuff in, so I'll give them a shout out. I bought this. They did not send this to me for free. I am going to try this out. This is the Greengate 3D. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. Their whole thing is these are all made from recycled PETG. So this PETG made from recycled PETG, and they extrude it here in the U.S. So it's made in the U.S. It's recycled, and I'm going to be giving it a try. Oh, that was weird. So have any of you guys used Greengate 3D stuff? They reached out to me, and they were on my list of PETG stuff that I wanted to try out. So I talked to the owner. He was really cool, and I ordered a bunch. He did throw in some samples, and a shirt. That's what I got for free. I bought all the other rolls myself. So I told them, I was like, I'm not looking for free shit, especially filming. So, but they sent me a shirt. I will say I don't like white shirts because I get them dirty too easily. I don't know if you guys notice a trend, but most of my shirts are dark colored. So, but I am going to be giving their Pet G a shot. I really like for Pet G. I really like Atomic. I've been printing a lot of Atomic Pet G. This was done on my Wanhao i3 Mini at a 0.3 layer height. These are covers for my drone arms, so I really like their stuff. Also, I've been plugging away at these. So you smart home guys, this is on my bench for development. There's a little ESP chip hiding right there. So yeah, new stuff that I'm working on. I've got it in and disassembled the whole damn thing. They're actually pretty easy to take apart. So yeah. Let's see, any other questions? Let me see any other quick questions. Like I said, giveaway form, I will just hit the giveaway form at like 5:15. So I'm going to wrap the stream up in a couple minutes here, and then I'm going to get the form set up, so it'll be at giveaway.th3dstudio.com. Oh, I was trying to find, yeah, so the lights, I did get the actual specs. So according to the manufacturer, these are we're going to do the 9-watt variant, so these are rated at 800 lumens. I don't know if you guys can see here, they're RGB, but they also have dedicated white and cool white LEDs, so they can actually do true white instead of like just an emulator where they light up RGB. So it's a RGB CW array, so it's both. And these will be 110 only, so sorry people who are not on 110. But yeah, 9-watt input and 800 lumens output is what these will be rated for. So let's see here. So was the EasyBoard not being sold anymore an April Fool's joke? Yes, it was. It was on April Fool's. I can't believe anybody believed that. Although the support guys about head and aneurysm, they're like, please tell me this is a joke. I know it's April Fool's, but I just need to hear it. Because they didn't want to deal with supporting Big Tree Tech's terrible boards. They just have too many issues, and I would never do that to you guys. If you guys are watching, I would never do that to you guys. There'd be too many troubleshooting issues to deal with on those. So, no. You know, if Big Tree Tech comes out with boards that don't have, you know, tons and tons of issues, maybe at some point in the future we'll look at selling their stuff, but there's too much inconsistency from batch to batch with them. Hang says, status on the 12864 LCD. We have them ordered. I put in an order with our Creality rep. I also ordered a small quantity from a US vendor, but they're dicking me around with tracking. So hopefully a couple of weeks. I did get confirmation from the guy I deal with over in Shenzhen that is like my connect for all the Creality stuff. He actually is a reseller for Creality. He sells mainly on Amazon, but he gets me all sorts of Creality parts directly from them. And he sent me a picture of a huge box of LCDs. So he should be he should be sending these. He said he arranged for them to get shipped 150 of them. And that was on Thursday. So we should have them in about a week. He's sending them DHL Air, and we usually get stuff from them. If it comes from Creality over in China, we usually get them in about 3 or 4 days. So we should have them this week. Hopefully. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying hopefully. Knowing what we know about logistics, DHL has been pretty good about getting stuff to us. Also, Easy Driver kits, UPS tracking, they got picked up from the port, and they're showing that they will be here tomorrow, which means we're going to get them in, process them, take product photos, and those will be on the site very soon. So, like this week soon. Let's see. Are there any other quick questions? Neil Visser, is there any firmware support for the Chiron? No, I have not put anything out for the Chiron. Do we plan on shipping to the UK again? Not unless they change their laws. According to what I've read, is that if you're a business shipping into the UK, you have to collect taxes on their behalf, put those taxes into a separate account, and then file quarterly taxes with them, just like we do with the US. The amount of sales to the UK for us was less than 2%, and the amount of paperwork and time it would cost us is not worth it, because it would cost us more than we would make selling to the UK. It's not worth it. Just one of the sad realities of doing business. You know, they decided to change their laws and force the sellers to collect it instead of them collecting it at the border. Like the US, when you ship stuff into the US, the shipping company charges us and we pay the shipping company, and then they pay customs. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's how it should. It makes the most sense. If the country wants to collect taxes on stuff coming in, collect it at the border. So, let's see here. Where was it? Someone's asking about, okay, with the Cymax Ender 3 hot end. I have no idea what hot end that is. I would contact whoever makes that. I've never heard of that hot end. Mamadou. Never heard of that hot end. Cymax Ender 3 24 volt hot end work with the Ender 3. I have no idea what that hot end is. Let's see here. Matt Madub, you were so deadpan about the BTT boards. I can see why people bought it. That was not rehearsed at all. I just did that last minute, and I don't know how I don't know how I got through without even laughing or smirking. If you notice, I kind of spaced out at the camera, and I was just like, just going with it. Yeah, it worked. It was funny. Can the Easy Flex 2 plates be cut? Well, if you got like a fiber laser or a water jet, yeah, but not with traditional stuff. I don't even have stuff here that we can cut. We don't have, or what's it called? I don't even have stuff that can cut through those cleanly. I have stuff that can cut through them, but not cleanly. Not cleanly. Jeffy Boy, super fast probing, accurate all. It is if your printer can do it. As we saw on the Ender 6 stream when we were doing that, that printer just couldn't do it. So I run the standard one. I haven't had a single issue with probing once I slowed down the probing speed on the Ender 6. It's been back-to-back consistent. I don't know if you guys saw, I started a print and didn't even touch it. So, but it's now 5 o'clock. We're coming up on the hour mark here. So I'm going to create the form. So in about 10 minutes, go ahead and hit the giveaway.th3dstudio.com form, and you guys will be able to enter the giveaway. I totally brain farted before I went live and forgot to set up the new form for April. We set up a new form every month, and we give away a 3D printer every month. And I'm gonna bother the guy that I ordered the ANET A8 for, that's supposed to be getting drop shipped to the guy who won last month. That was not a joke. I am sending him an ANET A8. I'm just trying to figure out why this seller who said it's shipping from the US still hasn't shipped the printer. So anyways, I appreciate everybody stopped by. Sorry if I didn't get to your questions. I try to go through and answer questions as best I can in the allotted time we have. So if you guys do have other questions and you're looking for help, make sure you guys check out our community. So if you go to community.th3dstudio.com, there's links to our MeWe group, our Discord server, our Facebook group, and then we do have this YouTube channel, but I don't recommend posting questions in the comment. I usually, if somebody posts like a detailed question, I'll usually just post a copy and paste response to say, hey, go check out the community. So it just gets too cluttered trying to answer questions over and over in the YouTube comments. So Discord server is really good. The MeWe community is fairly active already. I've been trying to get more away from Facebook. I have been seeing more and more people leaving Facebook due to privacy concerns. I don't know if you guys also noticed, we made an announcement that we got rid of Google Analytics, and we're using one called Plausible, which is it's just a simple analytics, so I can see how many people are hitting the site, top traffic, that kind of stuff, but it doesn't track any of your stuff. It doesn't give me IP addresses like Google. It's just basic information, and I'm I got rid of Google Analytics. It's not getting rid of it's gone. We don't use it on our site anymore. We don't use Facebook's pixel crap or anything like that. Also, one thing I do want to say is that Facebook has been removing posts in the groups again. And I don't know if it's just people mass report stuff, and the stuff they've been removing has been perfectly within their standards. So it's been kind of pissing me off because I have people messaging me like, why did my post get removed? And it's like, I don't know. Ask Facebook. So anyways, I will wrap this up. I'll go get the new giveaway form set up. So in about 10 minutes, so like 5:10 p.m. Central Time. So it's 5:03 right now. So in 17 minutes, go ahead and hit the giveaway.th3dstudio.com link, and that will be going to the new form. So appreciate everybody that stopped by. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Monday. And as always, happy printing. I'll see you guys on the next one.